Hey everybody, today on the Boostly podcast, we are talking about niching down and how your vibe attracts your tribe. And we're going to do that with a successful and interesting short-term rental host. We're going to ask questions about his hospitality business, extract all the stuff that he's doing well that you can put into your short-term rental as you listen to it. And today we've got Andy Easton. He's coming from the UK down in Cornwall. His business is called Beach Retreats, and you can check them out at beachretreats.co.uk. And we're going to dive into what that business is all about, as I'm sure you'll understand what niche he's going for straight away. But yeah, welcome along, Andy.
Hi, Liam. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here. So start off by introducing yourself and, what you find most enjoyable about hosting.
Sure. So I'm the MD for Beach Retreats down here in Cornwall. We have about 250 properties that we look after, all privately owned, and we work on a commission basis. And what do I like about the hospitality? It's really bringing the new properties on. Some great new areas, secret beaches, stunning properties, great interiors, and meeting new owners and educating them about the sector.
What kind of model do you use? How many units? And what kind of guests do you tend to host the most?
Sure. So we've been around about 14, 15 years now. We are part of the Watergate Bay Hotel Group. So if you've been down in North Cornwall, you might know Watergate Bay between Newquay and Padstow. And we've kind of grown from that hotel DNA of looking after guests and offering great guest experiences on the beach. So we now look after 250, I think it's about 255 properties that we've got in the portfolio now, all united by that characteristic of being within walking distance of a beach, having good local amenities, so the beach cafe, good restaurants, and the water sports, and contemporary interiors as well. So the kind of really modern kitchens and new build properties really kind of resonate with our guests.
You mentioned before, and I know we mentioned this just off air beforehand, but I asked, is all of your properties near the beach? I mean, it sounds like an obvious question, but you said they're all within walking distance to the beach, which is so important. And this is what brings us back to, the vibe attracts the tribe. If people know what a business does, and there was a great video recently by a chap called Daniel Priestley, who says that when you're doing an elevator pitch, people like to put you into some sort of box. So instantly, I now know that, beachretreats.co.uk is, hey, I can walk to the beach. So I know if I want that kind of feel of, hey, I can walk and there's a beach close by, there's activities, then I know where to go. And that's really cool. So where do you market your properties at the moment?
So everyone books direct. I think it's kind of something we're really proud of. We have a few properties where the owners have asked to list on Airbnb, and that's fine. We'll do that for them, but it's booked direct. So the marketing is a really kind of broad mix of channels. And I come back to the guest journey when they're booking a self-catering holiday in Cornwall. It's a very kind of planned, quite a traditional market. It's that once a year holiday with a family. When they're coming down to mark a special occasion or to go to an event. So the journey from, right, I'm going to book a holiday to actually arriving is can be very kind of drawn out. It's a few months of looking around the internet and actually picking out the areas and the type of property and the dates are all kind of coming together. So the marketing tends to be really based around that demographic and their interests, the walkers, the people who like to do yoga on the beach, the people who like to get in the water. And it's just kind of like dripping some nice content to them at different points. So when they're ready to book, Beach Retreats is very much the name that they think of. So that's kind of, it's nice Instagram shots of the sunset. It's might be an event that's happening down here, or that coastal path which has just reopened, that is that driver for wanting to book a holiday. So so if you look at the marketing and where our bookings come from, it's very much a mix of a bit of pay-per-click, a lot of PR. We do a lot of influencer stays and reaching out to journalists, but then it's our newsletter. The Instagram account has been really effective over the past few years, and now we're playing with TikTok and seeing how learning from how that contributes to that journey. But it's very much a suite of tools that generate that one booking.
How much work does direct bookings take? And I said, well, it depends on your business. But for you, how much work does direct bookings take? Is it more? Is it what would you say? And is it all worth it doing all this?
Yes, it does, especially when you commit to managing your brand on a social media channel. It's not something that you can back away from, and quite often it's difficult to see that direct return on the investment. I think with these channels, especially with influencer marketing, is a great one in that we've had some really kind of interesting guests stay with us. Quite well-known people and their families come down, and you'll see this spike in the traffic, and all of a sudden you'll get a few phone calls. But that particular, you might get awareness to say 50,000 followers of a really good Cornish influencer, but they don't all translate into bookings there and then. So it's actually kind of, if you imagine that we do that in November, that the influencer comes out of season, so we've got availability, it's quite easy to arrange, that the people who see that influencer might book a holiday in January for next July, I guess, or it might book and it get there this weekend. So there's everyone in between that you're reaching out to. So it's very difficult to measure return on investment in that respect. But our approach would be that we know who our customers are, we know where they live, what age they are, what they like to do, and we're dripping that content via the newsletter and via social media throughout the year. And it's not all book now messages. It's very much just look at this. Here's some dolphins that came through the bay today, and a few drone shots always kind of really work in terms of engagement. Everyone likes to see a beach from the air. You
mentioned, first of all, you know who your demographic is. How did you find out who your demographic is? And for people listening going, do you know what, I don't know who my demographic is. How did you find out your demographic? What is there any tips that you can share around that?
We used use Facebook. It's quite a good insight into who's looking at your site, who's engaging with your site. I mean, we've got 50,000 plus followers on Facebook. So it's quite a really good body of customers to look at. But we did a guest survey about 3-4 years ago, and it was an incentive to win an iPad. And the questions were, very much geared towards understanding who our guests are and spending a bit of time thinking about the questions and what you want to get out of that survey before you rushed into it really helped us. So we asked questions about what they like to do, and where they like to go. It was quite specific to questions that we wanted to answer around activities and when they like to travel. I think the really interesting one is the people who, he comes out of Cornwall in July and August. It's a very different experience to coming down in September, as are most UK staycation destinations, I would imagine. So yeah, we did a simple survey for the price of an iPad. We got some really good insights into who our guests are and what they like to do.
Having a blast, gonna get it on the Boostly podcast. Boostly like Bruce Lee, cause it's so hard and the T is loose leaf. Making up those rhymes, don't write it, just do it loosely.